Wrestling fans around the corner and around the world, I'm the Big Fat Well.
And I'm the rocker, Marty Jannetty.
And in about 10 seconds, we'll be talking about 90s wrestling straight out of Melrose.
It's going to be a rockin'... Who let the little kids into the studio?
Cut! Cut!
Wrestling fans, now you too can look as cool as Monty and the Pharaoh by wearing the official Monty and the Pharaoh sunglasses at night for $8.99 each. That's only $8.99 each. Now available at montyandthepharaoh.com. Punk.
What? Yeah. No, I'm behaving myself. No, I'm not playing in abandoned buildings. What? Again? Now. I suppose you had those people follow me again. Fine. Hey, this is Jimmy Farrow from Monty and the Pharaoh, and I want to thank all our subscribers. We have now passed 14,000 on our YouTube channel. But I want to ask our subscribers to take the next step for us and become a full-fledged member of Monty and the Pharaoh. Yeah, that's right, folks. There's 3 different levels to choose from. There's free shirts, there's free autographs. Just check it out and become a member of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh. Later.
Start saying shit to him. He thought he was sleeping. It was just such a funny episode. Johnny Feed was fucking
Marty
great.
Greenfield says Dr. Jerry Graham was the best. Thoughts on
Okay.
Dr. Jerry Graham?
Isn't Dr. Jerry Graham, if he's talking about, isn't that Vince McMahon's favorite wrestler as a kid?
I think so.
Yeah, well, I think he had quite the influence
In
on
good
this
company.
business, you know?
All right, Matty, play the video, head to head.
Rolling it.
Tonight, we are going to witness the most anticipated match in the history of professional wrestling for the heavyweight championship of the world. Are you ready? Wrestling fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, from the capital city of the United States of America, Washington, D.C., ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
All right, so Jimmy's going to read the rules of head-to-head and not to influence anything, but right now Muraco is winning 62% to 38%. Jimmy, read the rules.
Oh, before I read the rules, when did we start doing this? Where you start telling me what the people are saying before we do it? This is the first time. Why are you doing that for? I don't want to be influenced by anybody. All right, folks, let's do it head to head. It's been a little while. I don't know if you're seeing these in the order I'm going to spit them out, but I'm going to spit them out this way. Category 1, mic skills. You know, can you? What's the old Jewish term? Can you kvetch with me for a while? Do you have the ability to translate what you're feeling in an effective manner? Are you good on the mic stick, or are you basically making me want to go out for, fast food? Okay, number 2, we got mat skills. Well, that should be pretty obvious. How do you cut that rug in the ring? You got the moves, or are you going to basically hurt the guy across from you? Does anybody want to work with you, or does nobody want to work with you? What are your mics and mat skills? So those are 2 categories down. Category number 3, let's go with my personal favorite, the back of the baseball card. Where's your belts? What have you won? What have you done? What have you done for me lately? What have you done at all? That's the back of the baseball card. Category 4, the it factor. Do I remember you? Or am I basically trying to recall as hard as I can the impression you left upon me on last week's AEW Rampage?
There you go.
Went.
Oh.
So what is your it factor? Are you Hogan, or are you basically, oy. Category number 5, and the final category, the influence on the industry. I always go back to Hogan. I always will. What kind of trail did you blaze? What have you done to change things for the better or for the worse? What kind of impact did you leave? All right, so there is the 5 categories. We're going to take 2 greats, put them head-to-head, and see who the winner is.
So the first contestant is Don, the Magnificent Muraco, born in 1949, retired professional wrestler and podcaster. Best known for his appearance with the World Wrestling Federation from 1981 to 1988. That's quite an extended run.
Yes, it is.
Where he held the WWF Intercontinental Championship on 2 occasions, as was crowned the inaugural winner of the King of the Ring tournament in 1985. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame, class of 2004. Magnificent Muraco.
All righty.
Thoughts on the Magnificent Muraco?
Wow. Well, you know darn well, and I don't know if we've really clearly spelled this out at home, but your very first feverish pitch favorite, because Sergeant Slaughter did come first for you, okay?
Yep.
But is the Magnificent Muraco. You, one time, yes, folks, time for another childhood story. There was a guy at the school, and we were all friends, but for some reason, you two were fucking with each other. Mike decided one day to tape his thumb. And you Asiatic spiked this guy. Yeah. I still remember this. You went to school with your thumb taped. You thought you were Muraco. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? And the guy's trying to ram you against the fence, and you look at me. I'm like, you're in a fight, and you stop to look at me to crack a smile, and you go, and you had taped your thumb. You start jamming your thumb into the back of his head, and I can remember him saying, and you couldn't see him because you had him in headlock. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, bing, 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 bing. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Wow.
That was your favorite guy.
Talk about a lazy finisher, though.
Oh,
the
God.
Asiatic spike.
Yeah, but you know what?
Jamming it into someone's throat.
But in theory, and I'll never forget the first time I saw the Asiatic spike. Right. I saw it on Gordon Soley's UHF Florida Championship Wrestling before Muraco got here. He's in Florida. And I saw this guy with this taped thumb get on the top rope, which back then was holy shit.
Yes, it was.
He's on the top rope, holy
right.
shit. And he came down and hit the opponent right here. Oh God, that gotta hurt. That gotta hurt. And he was beastly. Don Muraco was effing amazing.
I think Maria and Phil were talking about Gordon Soley. So
Okay.
if people can remember, Muraco was one of my favorites when he came to WWE.
Right.
He defeated Pedro Morales, who I hated.
Boy, did we love him for that.
Oh,
Didn't we
my
love
God.
him
Just
for that?
in
And I told you he
itself.
was going to beat him.
Yeah.
I said it. I'm like, he's not here to not beat Pedro. He's here to beat him.
Oh, my God, yes.
That was so
and,
great.
You know, back in that early days, right, Muraco would defend his Intercontinental title against much weaker opponents.
Sure.
Like Tony Garea, stuff like that.
Right.
But eventually, Morales comes back, defeats Muraco, and Muraco leaves.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're watching WWE, and then Jimmy and I would watch at 6:05 Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
And here comes this mask guy. I think they called him the Execution. I can't remember off the top. It might have been Mr. X. I'd have to look it up.
Right.
But he had the lightning bolt on the back of his trunks. And I called Jimmy, and I'm like, put on Georgia. And you weren't watching it for whatever reason at that moment.
Right.
It's Muraco.
Right.
And we're flipping out.
We were going nuts.
And talk about...
But you didn't say it that way. My mother says, Mike is on the phone. I pick up the phone. He's back! I'm like, who's back? He's wearing a mask! Turn on Georgia Channel. You were going nuts.
Oh, my God.
You're going wild.
And the first time I ever saw someone break down the fourth wall, I guess. Muraco and Georgia Championship Wrestling says,
What does he say?
"What's up, Wiz?" or something like that.
He
gave
did a
the
shout out
Wizard
to the Grand
to
Wizard.
the Grand Wizard.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit.
Yep.
This guy's just breaking it all.
Yep.
And then everybody knows the big
Yep.
thing where Piper turns face and
Oh.
Muraco attacks solely.
Oh.
And,
Look, the roll of quarters
oh my God.
will always stand out to me as one of the greatest pro wrestling moments ever, because the when Piper hit him and the quarters exploded everywhere. Oh my God, was that a great moment? And Muraco played it off too. I mean, my God, those two together, wow.
All right, the second contestant is Jerry the King Lawler. Prior to joining the WWE, Jerry the King Lawler wrestled in territories, winning champions including many world championships throughout his career, AWA World Heavyweight Champion, 3-time WCWA World Champion, make 4-time World Champion at AWA and WCWA. He unified the titles by defeating Kerry Von Erich at Superclash 3, forming the USWA Unified World Championship. He also was Memphis Heavyweight Championship on so many countless occasions. I mean, when you talk of the back of the baseball card,
Oh, yeah.
I think Jerry Lawler might hold the record for the most titles in the history of an individual wrestler.
Jerry Lawler is a damn legend. You know, it's funny. Us folks here on the East Coast pretty much remember Jerry for, being one of the greatest color commentary announcers ever. But the guy was, to the AWA areas and to his areas, he might as well have been Bruno.
Oh, yeah.
I
I think
mean,
at some points he was.
I think he was, or Flair, or whatever you want to call it for his areas. That's what he was.
And he might have been part of the problem, maybe part of one of the greatest angles in history of wrestling with Andy Kaufman.
That
right?
was absolutely unbelievable. I will never, ever forget that. I saw it live, and I was a huge Letterman fan. Remember when Letterman was super cool back in the early days when he was coming around? He was our late-night talk show host.
You're right.
Our parents had Johnny,
Yep.
and we had this guy Dave that we totally
Absolutely.
loved. Yeah, and I loved Andy Kaufman. I was a huge fan of Taxi, obviously, being an Andy Kaufman fan. And I thought that was as real as it gets. I was like, oh, my God, this is unbelievable. When Kaufman and Lawler had their little thrown coffee cup exchange, et cetera, et cetera. Wow. And boy, did that get over.
All right, let's put them up against each
Man,
other,
did that
buddy.
get over. Yeah, let's do it. Well, what do we got first? Let's do Mike skills, right? Okay. Who's a better talker? Don Muraco, who could talk.
Oh, my God.
He's a top-tier talker.
And Jerry Lawler.
Or
could talk.
Jerry Lawler, who was the greatest one of the greatest color commentators of all time.
Absolutely.
One of the greatest promo men of all time.
Absolutely.
This is rough. You vote first.
Stinger says he won all the titles because he owned the territory. Well, come on.
Hey, look.
So did Vern.
Right.
You know
it is
I mean?
what it is. It is.
You got to trust
what it
somebody.
is.
You trust yourself.
Right.
Right.
And he was right.
And he was over.
And he was right to trust.
And he was
himself.
over. Yeah.
He was right.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with him.
I mean, what do you want to
yeah.
do? Turn around and tell the Von Erichs, "Bah, you've heard nothing." You know what I mean? They ran their territory.
James says yes. Lawler was the Bruno of Memphis. I totally agree. So
Yeah.
now you put it on me, Mike skills, huh?
Yeah, go ahead. Who's better? I'm going to do the right thing. And I know you hate when I do this. I'm calling that one a draw. And I'm being very respectful of Muraco here because I would give the edge to Jerry.
I'm gonna call it a draw.
It's a draw.
I don't think you could choose either one. They were
Right,
different
right.
in many ways.
Right.
But one couldn't be better than the
We're
other.
Both. Look,
Wow,
I love Beethoven and I love Mozart. Don't you ask me to
James says
to choose.
Muraco is better.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's fair,
If,
yeah.
if you picked one or the other, that's fair. But it's my job to be responsible about this. They're both
There's no
equally
clear-cut winner
amazing.
on
Yeah,
the mic
it's
here.
not clear cut enough for me. And wow, what a comment to Muraco. What a compliment to Muraco, considering all the things Jerry did. So that's a draw. All right,
Mr.
Matt.
Wonderful says I like Muraco most when he was in the late '80s in the WWE Best Body.
Nice. Yeah,
right, go ahead.
his physique was
So
insane.
we're both agreed.
Yep,
Draw.
it's a draw. I'm sorry, folks. Then we got Matt skills. I'm going with Muraco.
That easy, huh?
I'm just going with Muraco. I think Muraco
What
was
puts
a little
Muraco
bit
over
better.
Lawler? Why?
Physicality. I like the, and that's probably the wrong thing to say, but I mean, I feel like Muraco's matches were better. I don't know. I think Muraco did a few more things that Jerry Lawler would never attempt. Let me put it that way. Didn't Muraco used to do pre-Frankensteiner type moves now and then? I mean, the guy was pretty interesting.
Frankenstein. Remember,
That's a bit
the
much,
finisher was
but
the Asiatic spike
you know.
against the pile driver.
Right. What are we going to do?
You know what? I'm going to go with Muraco.
I'm going with
too.
Muraco.
I'm thinking about it. Lawler was a punch and kick guy most of the time.
Muraco was a guy who could go 60 minutes with Bob Backlund at the Garden.
You're right.
I'm going with Muraco on this one. That's just my,
Oh, ESO, he's so right. Don't forget Muraco's Body Shop. You're 100% correct.
Yep.
Maria's already saying, I will say Muraco is the best.
Interesting.
All right. Xavier Diaz. Muraco was the better heel.
Yeah.
Pulsar, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a while, buddy.
Okay.
Muraco drank a 6-pack at night. He has my vote.
I'll tell you who blew boogers better, Muraco.
And
ate a sandwich in the middle of a match.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
All right.
So we got one for Muraco and a draw.
Got it.
Okay. So let's do. That's rough. Now, what do we do next?
Back of the baseball card.
All right, we'll do back of the baseball card. Oh boy.
I got to go with Lawler, man.
I'm going with Lawler.
The guy is probably the most decorated champion
he's
in
a
history.
former world champion, and you know what? He didn't own the AWA when he was made world champion. Okay, so we can't say that. He's a former world champ.
Well, he might have.
Did he?
Kinda.
What?
AWA is kind of going on.
Well, Vern was like, "Give me $20, Jerry. You could be champion."
Yeah,
that's right. And Greg was like, "I got 20." Greg Gagne.
Yeah.
I got $20.
I gotta go with. Stinger says Muraco would eat Lawler for lunch.
Yeah, of course he would.
Not if they wrestled in Memphis, he would.
That's true. He wouldn't.
All right, so I got it one. We got it one.
Yeah.
One, and a draw.
Yeah, I'm giving the back of the baseball card to the King.
This is
Absolutely.
Tight, baby.
Yeah, it is. It's 1-1-1.
James says I thought the Body Shop was Jesse Ventura. You're right. It was Jesse Ventura. ESO, I think you're right. You're wrong. It wasn't Muraco.
This is going to get interesting. It Factor.
ESO says Lawler sold better, Muraco better offense.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
Go ahead.
It Factor. This is hard, man. I am having a hard time with this.
This one is really tough.
This is very tough. This is very, very tough. It Factor. Oh, my God. I can't do this. It's a draw.
Wow, It Factor. It's a
They both never made me ever want to switch the channel ever. With even one of them. That's rough.
I'm not gonna go in a draw with this because I'm just telling you what I think what the fans saw it. It might be because we're WWE guys. Yeah. I'm gonna give the It. You know what? I can't. Because if I look in Memphis, Lawler was over. It's like I personally could give It Factor to Muraco on a personal basis.
Right.
But if you legitimately look at it,
you look at the whole picture. To me, it's a draw.
It's a draw.
It's a draw.
All right, we got another draw.
So we've done 4 categories now. There are 2 draws, and Muraco and Lawler each have 1 to go with the 2 draws.
Yep.
So this is dead heat. Someone's going to win this right now or not.
Yep.
All right. Oh, my God, this is terrible.
Unless this is a draw.
Influence on the industry. The winner of this head-to-head in the Pharaoh's book is Jerry the King Lawler. The influence on this industry, the Kaufman Lawler program, the fact that he went on to do all the things he did, the color commentary for a kabillion years. Most color commentary and head announcer teams you see are probably patterned after Jerry the King.
James says Muraco had the It Factor. James, I agree.
Yeah, it's rough.
But if you talk to someone who watched Memphis wrestling,
right,
they would say Lawler had the It Factor.
It's a big country, the United States.
Yeah, it's very difficult to like.
These are territory days.
Me personally, I would agree. Muraco had It Factor.
Right.
But again, when you look at overall wrestling,
This
and
is
you close the book. Lawler wins this. I'm gonna have to agree with you.
Yeah.
Jerry Lawler
wins this. He does.
All hail the King.
Yeah.
Phil says it's a time limit draw. It was close.
It's very close.
Pulsar says Muraco retired too early. You might be 100% correct.
Yep. Wow, that was a painful one, man. That was a painful head-to-head. That might be the greatest head-to-head
Wait a
ever.
minute. I want not to try to change your opinion.
Yeah.
Just want to say this.
Yeah.
Overall influence on the industry.
Jerry the King.
What is the most memorable match? Top 10 most memorable matches in history of wrestling.
Throw it out there. I could name a bunch, but go. What do you got?
Snooker Muraco, Steel Cage, Madison Square Garden.
Of course, it's one of the greatest matches.
Doesn't that influenced Hell in a Cell?
Yeah, well,
I agree with you, but now I'm kind of like, I'm not sure.
Now, you have to understand that alone, what Jerry Lawler, let me put it this way. You want to talk about one particular specialty match? Okay, I agree with that. But let's really spell this out for the folks at home. The Lawler-Kaufman angle put pro wrestling public perception at such a higher level that within a few years, WrestleMania was possible.
You're right.
You would not have the success, the mainstream success of this business would not be where it wound up being without
Isn't it very
Lawler Kaufman. It
isn't
was
it-
huge. It made every newspaper from here to the edge of,
Isn't it very funny though? Andy Kaufman went to think about how sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Mm-hmm. J Dog, welcome, man.
Andy
Lawler's
Kaufman
feud with Bret Hart was hot. Pulse
Yes.
says Captain Lou break the tie for Morocco. That's a good point.
Foreign object.
So
Yeah.
Kaufman went to Senior and said, "Hey, I want to wrestle for you."
Right.
Senior didn't want to get involved. Junior was interested.
I bet he was.
And Senior sent him to Memphis to
Yeah.
go meet Jerry Lawler.
That's right.
If Senior had passed away a little earlier, and
That
McMahon
program
took
beco-
Kaufman,
Yeah.
this whole thing could have changed. It would never have been a WrestleMania. It would have been totally a different scenario.
I think WrestleMania was coming one way or the other. Why? The reason why Junior loved this idea of Kaufman and Lawler was publicity.
No, but he didn't have Lawler.
This was
so
show.
it would
This
have
was
been,
E and entertainment of WWE. This
but
was
it would have
exactly.
been Kaufman against somebody else.
That's true too.
And people, you got to understand something. I'm going to say
Very
it.
true.
I'm going to say it. If it wasn't for Cindy Lauper,
Lauper.
did
I
say
got you.
Lauper, right?
Cindy
If
Loafer.
it wasn't for Cindy, pro wrestling wouldn't be in the state it's in now.
Right.
She
Right.
is the fire that started it off.
She was the entertainment factor that was able to merge the MTV audience with the professional wrestling audience and to give us WrestleMania. Yeah,
And
she
gave
was.
us all those many years
Absolutely.
of great professional wrestling.
But the perfect wrestler to have for that entertainment purpose was Hulk Hogan.
Right.
So it was all the perfect storm. But again, to me,
But again, if
influence on
Kaufman-
the industry.
right,
if
if-
Lawler and Kaufman don't do their thing,
That's right. That's right.
I'm not so sure things turn out the way they did, And I'm happy they did because I loved the WrestleMania early years, and I love WrestleMania to this
All right, we're
day.
almost out of time.
You know?
Xavier Diaz wants to ask one question.
Sure.
Lawler versus Funk.
Okay, fantastic.
Who?
Who am I? What?
head.
Head to head? No. Nope. We don't slap them out that quickly.
All right.
We'll have to do that one day.
Sorry,
I personally, let me give him what I personally think. At least I personally would go with Terry Funk as a fan, but I've got a funny feeling Terry Funk would not win that head to head. I mean, who knows? But I would be rooting for Terry Funk
All
to
right,
win
so
that head to head.
quick reminder. First of all, Chris, thank you again for moderating as usual, sir.
Yes,
You're
sir.
a wonderful human being. I want to thank all the people that spend their time with us every Thursday.
And if I could quickly, Chris, I'm very sorry that we didn't have head to head this week, being the Pharaoh versus Dink.
Is that what he wanted?
He wanted the well, you're head to head. You get out of here.
That would have been great.
Yeah. Sorry, Chris. Maybe next
Chris
time.
has pointed out that we're very close to 15,000 subscribers.
Yes, we
and so I will share a few things with some people for the short time
Very
that
short
we've been
time.
doing it.
Very
YouTube.
short time, yeah.
I've been interviewing with YouTube
Right.
on my sometime Friday nights.
They want to know about your mysterious friend, the Pharaoh.
They want to know about the Pharaoh. They want
Right.
to know about the show because thanks to you guys, we've got onward momentum.
Absolutely.
Again,
Absolutely.
we're not claiming to be the most popular show out there. It's nothing like that. We just want to thank everybody for what they've done, and
Absolutely.
obviously Indie Music TV for what they've done.
Sure.
Also, just a quick announcement, if anyone wasn't aware. Tony Atlas, who is part of the network,
Tuesdays with
has
Tony.
signed on his character or his personality.
Right.
Is going to be
persona.
Persona will be in the Young Rock season 2. I think episode 2 and 3.
So fantastic. That's so great.
I'm also trying to work out, or we're trying to work out some deals for Marty Jannetty on the side.
Yep.
If Marty would pick up the phone today, we had a meeting today that he missed.
A little
But that's
busy.
okay. He was somewhere. I'm like, yo,
he was out
pick up
there
the phone.
somewhere.
All right, so quick reminder, tomorrow you've got This Week in Pro Wrestling, a double shot. Then we go live at 8 p.m., or maybe even, I think 8 p.m. we're going live. We'll have Eric Sims, and then 2 hours with PG-13, so it's going to be long.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to spending Friday night, and then you've got, you could go DVR SmackDown or watch us later on, whichever one you want. And then,
DVR SmackDown. Watch
and
us.
then, you got Full Gear on Saturday.